All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since we've uploaded a video. I did well at locals last week. I went X1, tied for second place, figured I'd bring you my deck profile. I was playing branded Despia, pretty similar to a lot of the other lists out there, with a few key changes that, I just play the deck the way I like, and so that's what I did, and I'll get into those. My matchups, I played two mirrors. My only loss was one of the mirrors. The kid really, he's a good player, knows what he's doing, and I did not open well. Game one, lost the die roll, and then absolutely bricked game two, and so that was unfortunate. Won the other one. The rest of my matchups were kind of random. I did play a Medolce. That was an interesting match. We both bricked 2 games in a row essentially, and I was able to grind it out, and that's something that this deck does really well. If it gets into a resource game, being able to consistently have plays and play from your graveyard to some extent really does make a difference, and so that won me the game. But at the end of the day, it performed really well. I'll go through the side deck as well and kind of talk about what worked for me. So let's get into it. So main deck, of course, 3 Fallen of Albaz, pretty self-explanatory. Love being able to see this. This deck plays better when you open this, because if you have to, you can poly this with something else and still go into your plays. So that added consistency is really nice. 3 Aluber, of course, it gets your engine going. I played 2 Tragedy. So this is a big difference between my deck and a lot of the lists I'm seeing. I actually cut Allure. I don't necessarily like it. What I found is that my win condition is not based on just drawing a bunch of cards. It's really getting my engine set up, getting Mirror Jade on field with a banish so that I have ad libitum in hand. And a lot of times if, I'm sending this off of branded fusion. And so because that's my main goal, I'm not trying to banish this off of Allure. 2 copies is all I needed, and that worked totally fine for me. 1 Dramaturge and 1 Ad Libitum. Both of these, obviously, this is incredible. This did come up, being able to negate stuff, being able to put the big body on board in end games, going second. This was really good, so I liked that. Here's another change to a lot of lists. Again, because I'm not playing Allure, I cut Mercurier. In testing, I never found myself going down that route. It was inconsistent, especially without Allure. I never really needed it, so that was an easy cut for me. I do still like the kit. You can search it off of Lost. It's essentially just another Aluber if you need it. And Albion, this card is incredible. I almost wanted to run this at 2 actually, but one is perfect. It did get me out of a couple jams, so really good. I play 3 Edge Imp Chain. I like seeing it. Again, not playing the Allure package, so you really want to make sure you're seeing this. One of my grind games against Medolce, I normal summoned this. I normal summoned 2 copies of this. One, he, battled over it with his normal summon. I searched the patchwork, went in another one. It was hilarious because I basically won a game with just Edge Imp Chain. So anyways, 3's been working well. Obviously 1 Fairy Tale Snow. This card's incredible. Probably never should have been unbanned. I played 2 Ash Blossom in the main, so as you'll see, I'm maining Crossout Designator. That's what this is for. Again, I built this deck to specifically go down that Mirror Jade route with Branded Fusion, so being able to protect your Branded Fusion is incredible. I only did that once throughout the day, and the kid I was playing against had a Crossout set, and so he hit my Crossout, and ended up his Ash went through. So unfortunate, but it's too good not to play it. And it's, obviously this is a great card. It's generic, so having it in the main deck, totally fine. 3 Branded Fusion, self-explanatory. 3 Branded Openings, same thing. Make sure you're using this in the draw phase if you can. Plays around, lets you get your search off, plays around stuff like Droll. Cards that can only be activated in the main phase, like Effect Veiler on your Aluber, things like that. So really good. Also, the second effect to protect does come up. So a lot of times I'm sending this because I'm not playing Sword Mercurier in this deck. A lot of times I'm sending this off of the Albion. So that does come up, it does matter. Especially going first, if you have that luxury, you can send this if you don't open it to protect yourself from a board wipe. 2 red, that's all you need. I played the theater, 1 theater. This, let me think, this did come up once. It could have been a poly, it just happened to be this, but that's kind of why you play it and it's searchable. But in that instance, I hard drew it and was able to out of board going second with it. And then the 1 lost. So this is something I almost want to play this at 2. It is that good, but then there's those matchups where the interaction just doesn't work with this, right? And so that Madolche matchup, for example, is one of those. The trap card that they have lets them target a monster that you control or a face-up card you control. It can be anything and negate its effect. It doesn't negate the activation, so it plays around Branded and Lost. That did come up a few times where the interaction just made this less valuable. That being said, the free search off this and going second into trap decks, this is really, really good because they cannot activate stuff in response to your monster summoning. So it freezes a lot of the traps that you're typically seeing going second against a trap heavy deck. So really good. 3 patchwork. This card is just incredible. It's an actual +1, so just amazing. Great card. 2 poly to search off it. Really, really good. Love seeing this. Here's a little difference. So this is maybe a little bit local specific. I expected to see a lot of Branded Despia. Like I said, I saw 2. And so this did come up. This was really good. This is something I would change depending on your locals. But this worked for me. Going first, it's really good. Going second, it's really good. I won a game basically just setting an Edgem chain and setting this and still managed to pull it out. So yeah, I really like that. As I said, here's the crossout designators. I'll show you the side deck as well. I do side 1 copy of D-Barrier. That's something I wish I had played more of in the side, but we'll get to that. But yeah, this card is incredible. And again, in the mirror, these 2 cards in the mirror match are just incredible. So having 3 and 3 in the deck worked really well. Called by, incredible card, stops Ash Blossom, so your fusion goes off. And then Branded Banishment. This is kind of like a love-hate relationship. Sometimes I would side this out and then need it, and then other times I wouldn't side it out, and then I wished it was something else. But in certain matchups, this is just so good, being able to fuse stuff off and banish them from either side of the field. Again, in the mirror match, really, really strong. So that was 40 cards. Let's hop into the extra deck. So I play 3 Albion. It does come up, so I play 3. Like I said, I got into a lot of grind games, and so having 3 copies was great. I love this card. Really, really good. I played 2 Lubellion. I think this is something I'm going to cut. The second one never came up. The mirror match that I lost, I was having a conversation with the kid, really nice guy, and we were actually talking about this, and he plays 1, and he made a really good point. He said, you almost never go into the second, and most people always just assume you have the second. And so I thought that was, that is fair. But I think this is going to be something else. Maybe if I keep the super polys, it'll be another super poly target or something like that, but we'll see going forward. Of course, 2 Mirror Jade, just awesome card, and people are really familiar playing against this, but don't seem to read that second effect that it clears your field during the end phase. So really good. I play 1 Albalenitis. This did not come up. The second effect to add a poly or a fusion normal spell definitely came up. But the reason I had this in here is I know there's a few people playing Dragon Link or different forms of Dragon Link, right? Like the Adventure Dragon Link. And this is really, really, really strong against that. So I had it in there. It didn't come up, but I'm probably still going to keep this in there. And we'll see kind of how the format changes or how my locals changes. Titaniclad, I had this in there because you can actually summon this against Fluanderies. You can use M-Pen to make this, and so that came up. Also, when this is summoned, it's not affected by stuff special summoned from the extra deck, so if you can get this on the field, it sticks, and a lot of times you just need that. So yeah, but like I said, this, I'm trying to think, I don't think this came up. I don't think I summoned it once, but we'll see. That's another flex spot. One Cordis, I did summon this. This definitely came up. Being able to quick effect make everything 0 that's not a fusion matters. Really, really good. And then being able to special a Fallen of Albaz, also really, really good. That's important. It does come up, especially in grind games. 2 Masquerade, the second one did come up once. Really good to have. It ends games. Dragos Depelia, so this was my super poly target mostly. I think I want to play something else because that's it. So I think I am going to cut the Lubellion for either the Mud Dragon or I don't know. I'll think about it. But this card is incredible. It's so generic, and a lot of times I would make this, especially going second, I'd make this really early, like with Super Poly, and it just kind of protects the rest of your plays. So really, really good. I love that card. And then 2 Chimera. This card's incredible. You need to really play this deck optimally. The second one comes up in the grind games and it just ends games. And so I think 2 of my games, that's exactly what happened. I went into 1, they outed it. It wasn't quite enough to end the game. And the second one was like, that's it, it's over. So yeah, that was the extra deck. We'll go into the side deck super quick, super cool token, or field center, I should say. Love that. So Droll, awesome card. It just hits so many decks and it's so impactful. Love playing that. Forbidden Droplet, it's very generic. The discards are okay in this deck, so yeah, that worked out well. Twin Twisters for back row decks. I'll put these there too evenly. It's generic, I've thought about Lightning Storm, stuff like that, but I like Twin Twister or Cosmic because of Floodgates, right? And so just being able to chain to Floodgates, something that like Lightning Storm can't do, is really, really powerful. So I think that's important. Also, I was expecting to see, I did not see, but I was expecting to see some anti-spell sided against me, and maybe it was, and they just didn't draw it, but I never saw it. But that was a reason I had this, so that if it, they put in anti-spell, which cold stops this deck, you can just chain Twister. So I think for now, I like all that. 1 red reboot, I sided this in a bunch. Never saw it. I've played this card in my side deck for a really long time, and I don't think I've ever drawn it. So hopefully that'll change soon. And then D-Barrier. So this is something I wish I had played at 3 copies, but it did come up. I used this with Crossout and won a game because of it. It just ended it. And so yeah, great card, excellent, really good with Crossout. So yeah, anyways, that's my deck profile, guys. Love to hear your feedback. If you like the deck, if you have suggestions, what are your thoughts? I know it is a little different without playing Allure of Darkness, but it's how I like to play it. It's tremendously consistent. And I feel like I win most of my games where I kind of get my combo off and have Brandon and Red set ready to go. And so I built the deck to really turbo that out. And I didn't think that Allure was necessary, and I wanted to play more power cards, at least for my locals, like the Super Polys and the Crossout Designators. And so it worked well. I'm happy with it. I'll make, maybe make a few changes to it, maybe make a few changes to the side deck, the extra deck like we talked about, and we'll be back at it this Saturday, hopefully. So thanks for tuning in, and have a good one, everyone.